मैं स्कूल नहीं था बैठने से क्या
क्या कर रहा था?
स्कूल नहीं रखा था तेरे स्कूल भी जाऊँ ना
मेरी भी बोला तेरा स्कूल देखी।
देखा है तो बाहर से देख
अभी अंदर से लेके कौन सा गवाह है तुम बता रहे स्कूल
मतलब नहीं बट
मेरे स्कूल का नाम
वाइट है
और
एक पीछे से दीवार सा है और रेड मैंने एक ही बार देखा है तो वापस जाऊंगा तो फिर अच्छे से
लेकिन ये पीछे तो इधर का ही पड़ता है ना
21 में था
राइट का बोल था
It's not coming. Coming. I gave you some homework, no?
Yes.
Given. I remember. बहुत दिन हो गया.
Yes.
What happened? That night.
Good question.
Yes.
Ma'am, can you explain that civil war in Russia?
because the geography sent us most of this climate chapter. Oh, geography said so and then I forgot. Because geography said it's not coming. No, the submission was day after tomorrow, and we sent like 10 pages of which when I wrote we gave. Lost my corner.
The notes to them.
No, this I gave before vacation. Before vacation I know it's 1 year. So it's long for me. Okay.
I will go and send in.
Thank you.
Okay, how much did we have studied?
Yeah, in the effects of war first. Effects of war.
Effects of our only we have learned till
Even if that the last time.
Okay. Yeah.
Number.
Start from there.
Okay. Let us see. You were asking about this one.
Just of the words was that they created the Weimar Republic for accepting the harsh rules imposed and we was just blaming them for everything which was happening in Germany at that.
Yes.
And they were also called as November.
November criminals, because the government was formed in the month of November. Okay, so that is
They were called November criminals because it's the treaty of persons.
treaty of Versailles, the government who signed that one only responsible, no?
So why
Treaty of Versailles cannot be called as November criminals. November criminals are those people who signed the treaty. That
And the people who
Weimar Republic.
And the people who supported November.
You see that. Show that the November criminals part. Show me and tell it.
I guess.
Hmm? See. Those who supported the Weimar Republic, mainly socialist, capitalists, and Democrats with the easy targets of attack in the conservative nationalist circles, they were mockingly called the November criminals. Just mentioned had a So they have signed, sorry, the government was formed in November and they signed that document. So in the month of November. So what you told is indirectly coming, but they were called.
Because they signed the treaty of persons or because their government was formed.
Formed and immediately they signed.
Okay.
Understood? The war ended that time and the treaty was prepared and Kaiser William left and this new republic had to sign. Understood? And those people who supported that republic were also openly called. Okay. Yes, you show me which one I have to explain.
Civil War English.
See, you know that after the Bolshevik Revolution, some changes happened. The land was redistributed and banks were nationalized, all changes happened. So, under the land distribution, the Russian army began to break up. Now, what happened when the land was redistributing? The army left, thinking that in the villages they will get land. So they left. So army was not there. Got it? Then soldiers, mostly persons, wished to go home for the redistribution and deserted that army. Non-Bolshevik socialists, liberals, and supporters of autocracy condemned the Bolshevik uprising. So now Bolshevik,
No, nothing.
Bolshevik only all of a sudden started that rebellion. Then only that the changes were brought. So non-Bolsheviks criticized the Bolshevik for the uprising. The civil war was started by Lenin. Civil war, no, that revolution, second revolution. October revolution was started under the leadership of Lenin, all of a sudden. So the non-Bolsheviks blamed them for that. Got it? Now,
This chaotic administration.
the aortic administration which was the currently government.
Provisional government.
Right.
Fourth grade.
Then liberals and supporters of autocracy condemned the Bolshevik. The leaders moved to South Russia and organized troops to fight the Bolsheviks. Bolsheviks said that the Bolshevik army was known as Red Army. Okay, and this time 3 types of army, civil war there, which were there. Red was there, white was there, and a green. Whites were there, that they were pro-Tsarist, supporters of Tsar. Okay, Greens were socialist revolutionaries. Then controlled most of the Russian Empire. They were backed by French, American, British, and Japanese troops. Now they started getting outside helpers. The means pro-service they were getting that outside. Then all those forces who were worried at the growth of socialism in Russia, as these troops and the Bolsheviks fought a civil war, looting, banditry, and famine become common. So civil war was against the Bolsheviks. So three groups were there. So within the country, when that war is against the existing government, it is called the civil. Got it? The other party will read now. But wait. Yes. Let us see. Effects of the war that already we have discussed. No? The effect of First World War on German society. You just read. After that is November criminals.
Yeah.
The First World War.
First World War only. That only I told.
Because we both that it is not.
That paragraph wise only heading is there. Okay.
The effects of the war. The war had a devastating impact on the entire continent, both psychologically and financially. From a continent of predators, Europe turned into one of debtors. However, unfortunately, the infant Weimar Republic was being made to pay for the sins of the old empire. The
This
Republic,
one we have studied, no? Next paragraph only.
the First World War left a deep, the First World War left a deep imprint on European society and politics. Soldiers came to be placed above civilians. Politicians and publicists laid great stress on the need for men to be aggressive, strong, and masculine.
So what happened? Till that time, the war which were fought, I have told you when it was started, that it was limited to between two countries or for few days only. But when First World War has started, it involved many countries and many type of weapons were used. So here a kind of atmosphere was created that soldiers are kept above the civilians. Now also we know that we have a feeling towards the soldiers. We have a great respect to the soldiers, isn't it? Do you have? Because no, you just think about it. That is, they are guarding the nation. Because of that only we can sleep peacefully. Understood? Without sleep, they are guarding the nation. So soldiers should be kept above. So here the condition was completely different. It was not like that. In order to show their power, they engaged in the war. And the soldiers who waged the war or involved in the war were given some kind of advertisement that they had done something great, so that common people will be drawn into
Fighting for.
But actually, the condition was completely different. What was that? The trenches were made, and these soldiers had to sit inside the trenches, and next to them, the dead bodies were there, and dead bodies were eaten by the rats. So that by seeing that, just to save their life, they are hiding. So it was a very miserable thing. But publicity was completely different. The soldiers were made to be advertised in a way that they are aggressive, masculine, and strong people. So that is what the point is. You underline that point. The soldiers came to be placed above the civilians. Politicians and publicists laid great stress on the need for men to be aggressive, strong, and masculine. Have you marked? Continue.
The media glorified trend life. The truth, however, was that soldiers lived miserable lives in the trenches, trapped with rats feeding on corpses.
I have just told you that also you mark. That was the reality.
They faced poisonous gas and enemy shelling and witnessed their ranks reduced rapidly.
So what were their problems? One is that
poisonous gas,
we
shelling, their
ranks reduce.
level compulsion.
Rank means that post. Because once the war got over, there is no need for that. So, in order to avoid salaries to be given, that is what the reality. But publicity is something else. Okay, continue.
Aggressive war propaganda and national honor occupied center stage in the public sphere, while popular support grew for conservative dictatorship that had recently come into being.
See what happened. Many countries there was a change in the attitude in the minds of the people that towards conservative dictatorship. They started thinking that what is that democratic government cannot do. You just imagine if a democratic government is there, it will take a long time to take a decision. Discussions to be there, then everyone's support to be there for passing a bill or in order to get the support. But if it is a dictator can take the decision very fast. So that is why people started thinking in a different way. If their countries were ruled by dictators, strong dictators, the country would not be plunged into another war. Okay, got the point?
Democracy was indeed a young and fragile idea, which could not survive the instabilities of interwar Europe.
Underline this point also. It was a young and fragile idea. It was a new thing, that is newly born and fragile, very weak. So, the instabilities which had taken place after the First World War could not survive this kind of the government cannot cope up with the instabilities. Got it clear? Now next. Let him, then we will make.
Political radicalism and economic crisis. The birth of the Weimar Republic coincided with the revolutionary uprising of the Spartacist League on the pattern of the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia. Soviets of workers and sailors were established in many cities. The political atmosphere in Berlin was charged with demands for Soviet-style governance. Those opposed to this, such as the Socialists, Democrats, and Catholics, met in Weimar to give shape to the Democratic Republic. The Weimar Republic crushed the uprising with the help of a war veterans organization called Free Corps.
This also you underline. What was that?
The anguished Spartacists later founded the Communist Party of Germany. The communists and socialists henceforth became irreconcilable enemies and could not make common cause against Hitler. Both revolutionaries and militant nationalists craved for radical solutions.
See, the Bolshevik type of group also formed there. Another socialists were there, communists were there. If all of them worked together or joined together, they could oppose that Hitler's rise to power. But what happened? They were ideologically and methodically different. Instead of joining together, they worked separately. What is the use? If they work for a common cause to resist Hitler's rise to power, this would not have happened. But everyone worked for their own independent causes. That was the failure of that Germany just before the rise of Hitler. Got it clear?
Not the birth of the Weimar Republic coincided means that along with the birth.
Coincide with that is the same. Got it? Next, economic crisis.
Political radicalization was only heightened by the economic crisis of 1923. Germany had fought the war largely on loans and had to pay war reparations in gold. This depleted gold reserves at a time the sources were scarce.
Underline this point. What was that? See, we have learned $33 billion. Beginning, Germany had to pay
War reparation.
And now this
लेकिन अभी current money में करेंगे.
current money में बोलेगा ना 240, 250 this thing.
मतलब उस time में 33.
So that one dollars. Okay. But what I was telling, it had to be paid in gold. So nothing was there with Germany at that time. How they will be able to pay?
In 1923, Germany refused to pay, and the French occupied its building industrial area to claim their soil.
So the next point is that Ruhr coal mines were taken over by France.
Germany retaliated with passive resistance and printed paper currency requests. With too much printed money in circulation, the value of the German
Mark is the currency of Germany.
In April, the US dollar was equal to 24,000 marks. July, 353,000 marks. In August, 4,621,000 marks. And at 98,860,000 marks by December.
Then it was entering into trillions. The situation was termed as hyperinflation. Okay, continue.
As the value of the mark collapsed, prices of goods soared. The image of Germans carrying cartloads of currency notes to buy a loaf of bread was widely publicized, evoking worldwide sympathy. This crisis came to be known as hyperinflation, a situation where prices rise phenomenally high.
So from here, the value of mark collapsed, prices of goods soared. The image of Germans carrying cartloads of currency notes to buy a loaf of bread, widely publicized, evoking worldwide sympathy. This crisis came to be known as hyperinflation, a situation when prices rise phenomenally high. You just see or hyperinflation. So what is that? One loaf of bread. For purchasing one loaf of bread, one cart full of currency notes have to be taken. Imagine. You see that picture is also given. So this much, a truck full of currency notes for purchasing one loaf of bread. So that was not available. So the value of currency as well as the price of the things, when it is comparing, high inflation is there. Such situation is termed as hyperinflation. Pardon. Eventually,
Eventually, the medical center did and built Germany out of the crisis by introducing the
Dale's plan.
This plan to save up the terms of reparation to ease the financial burden of them.
So instead of paying it in a bulk, they made a partial payment. That was the Dave's plan. How many billions to be paid? So it was made in installments, or such schemes were developed. That was called a Dave's plan. Okay. The years of depression. Afterwards, we will see that Hitler's rise to power one did, goes through, through that. Okay.
The years of depression. The years between 1924 and 1928 saw some stability. Yet this was built on sand.
So what is that? 1924 and 1928. That period, okay, it was going on not smoothly, but some stability was achieved. But you see that on beaches, when children are playing, with the sands, some mansions used to be built. Next wave will come and take away that. The same is the condition. This one was built on sand.
German investments and industrial recovery were totally dependent on short-term loans, largely from the USA.
So Dave's plan, according to Dave's plan only, this one, loans were given. That is, America was giving loans.
The support was withdrawn when the Wall Street exchange crashed in 1929.
So when was that Wall Street crash?
1929.
What is Wall Street?
It's world's biggest
stock exchange. Then
Yes,
we know that.
it's
So that was the biggest one. That one crashed.
How? Like, why does the market crash, or how does this work?
See, this one in America and capitalist countries, what is the problem? They are private sector, not like Indian that banks. We know that nationalized banks. Nowadays, privatization, that the talks on privatization is going on. Why the people are that opposing it? If it is privatized, the money which is gone is gone. Now, nationalized means if our money, if anything happen, we will get back our money. Understood? So everything was private sector. So if anything happened to that private entrepreneur,
company or the company, if the products are not being brought, the average price of the share would go down, which will lead to the market being crashed. Same happens in Nifty and Sensex.
but
the average 30 shares and all.
But it is not falling that way. In India, it is not falling.
That is both combined sector.
Yes,
But it is only private. So if government cannot do anything for that, so it will crash rapidly.
Because in our country, what is there? Even that private stocks also, it is controlled by that what is that person's name?
Agent something.
Not agent, one of big officer is there. So that officer is just valuing it. Whether it is
stock.
For stocks and all. So because of that, if that particular company is having that much property, what is that woodsman or like the ombudsman, like that something. One particular person is there. So what is that person is valuing? Then only they were allowed to sell off that shares. So otherwise, if this value is not there, means people money will go. That is why. But in capitalist society, there is no such. government officer.
Yeah.
Say, for example, I'm talking about that Ford, Henry J. Ford, owner of that Ford cars. So then that person's property is there in the maximum share. Imagine another this thing oil owner, that is oil company owner. His share is also there. So if there is a crash in that prices, naturally there is a depreciation of the value of money. So panically people will go to buy back their shares. Understood? So this panic only gave rise to the crash.
Because money was not, so the shares had no.
Well, yes, continue.
Fearing to fall prices, people made frantic efforts to sell their shares. On one single day, 24th October, 30 million shares were sold. This was the start of the Great Economic Depression.
Underline that day. That is October 24, 1929. That is 13 million shares were sold.
That is why when this kind of thing happened, the government advises the people not to sell their stocks and seeds.
See, panically we should not.
Yes, that is why they say that if don't sell in panic, if we don't sell, everything will be back to normal.
Yes. That is slowly it will. Very recently such a situation was set.
But if the government controlled it, came back to normal.
That is why government is interfering in countries like ours. But capitalist countries, there is no intervention. I'll tell you one example of America, USA. USA, this depression, economic depression started in USA only. Because this depression started as a result of overproduction. So much things are piled up. Okay. Now, in India, if such problem is there, according to our economic situation, the government will take it and distribute it to those poor people. So government owe the responsibility or own the responsibility. But in capitalist countries like America, these overproduced things will be burned up. If nobody is there to purchase, you are not having money, he is not having money, he is not having money. So then who will purchase? The things are produced. So they will burn it up. That is the condition. So if everything is burned up, then the company already produced it. So now they cannot continue production, they have to close the factories. People become unemployed. When they become unemployed, they don't have money even for purchasing the food. So it is a circular action. That is, one is related to the other event. Government cannot interfere. So it continued from 1929 to 1935 like that.
This was the start of the Great Economic Depression. Over the next 3 years, between 1929 and 1932, the national income of the USA fell by half. Factories were shut down, exports fell, farmers were badly hit, and speculators withdrew their money from the market. The effect of this recession in the US economy were felt worldwide.
So these are the conditions. You mark what is Great Depression, what are the problems faced. See, I have told you overproduction was there. So in American economy, what was the condition? When they started that production, they produce it for large scale. One example I'll tell you about that Henry Ford's car. He started that car manufacturing at Detroit. He followed a conveyor belt system. Have you gone to any biscuit factory or any such factories. So conveyor belt is there. That is the thing. That is first activity. That is atta will be put. That is the rest all activities continuously will take place till packing. So it is going through that conveyor belt. So much areas it will go. The same is the process he used in car manufacturing. So when the car have to be manufactured, you just imagine if people are standing in different positions, they have to give that particular equipment. Automatically it cannot be that the people have to. So when one person failed to give, that is engine part. So without engine, the car will come out. So nobody will come to know that. Without engine, it will come out because the covering also there, no? The engine is fitted inside only, no? So that way, the manufacturing, that means within 5 minutes or 3 minutes that the cars used to be manufactured. That way, faster rate they were manufactured. So these people were tired of doing. They could not take a time to breathe also. If they take time for breath, that will go. So now automatic system is there. That time automatic system was not there. Manually they have to. So people were getting jobs, so they were happy. But finally they started protesting because the wages were too low compared to their work. When the protest started, this Henry Ford came and had a talk with them and told that I will double that wage. People were very happy, but at the same time he told half the time the work to be completed. Earlier 5 minutes one car was coming, now 3 minutes that your car has to come out. Double wages. So the same thing only, but people at that time weekly wages they were getting. It was not monthly. So these all things were produced in that faster pace. So people were getting so much money in their hand. What they did, they started purchasing all these things, electronic goods and other things on hire purchase. Hire purchase means loans. So they can give that money. So EMIs now people are taking that loans and paying the EMIs at month end, next month beginning. So the same way they were paying in weeks.
Few people will come together and make a.
Now what happened suddenly this hyperinflation, no, inflation started. Then the stock exchange crashed. People, the factories closed, people become unemployed. They were trying to sell off these things and get money. Who is having the money to buy these second-hand goods? First-hand products are there, that is piled up, and second-hand goods who will purchase because nobody was having. So this affected the whole world. You just see that America was giving loan to this Germany. Now they started asking, "Mera paisa de do, wapas kar do." Germany from where it will give back. So it is spread to other countries also, the same situation. That is why years during the depression period was very difficult time. Okay, so that part is the impact. Also, you read.
The German economy was the worst hit by the economic crisis. By 1932, industrial production was reduced to 40% of the 1929 level. Workers lost their jobs or were paid reduced wages.
So what was that? Your production reduced to 40%. And what happened to the workers? Workers lost jobs, or those who are having work get reduced wages.
The number of unemployed touched an unprecedented 6 million.
6 million people become unemployed.
On the streets of Germany, you could see men with placards around their necks saying, willing to do any work. Unemployed youths played guards or simply sat at street corners or desperately queued up at a local employment exchange. As jobs disappeared, the youth
These all points are the situation in Germany. Okay.
the youth took to criminal activities and total despair became commonplace.
So as they are not having any work, they took to criminal activities. Now very recent.
But why did they join here?
Now army also
Oh, acha,
disbanded. No, after the war only. So there is no work.
Wait, so
No, I'll give you one example.
it's part of the
Depression.
person history, right?
No,
The
it is-
disbandment of military.
That was also the yes, yes. That military was reduced. German military strength was reduced. 1
But we
lakh.
are talking about over worldwide Germany.
Now it is about Germany. This part is
Also,
Germany.
that makes sense.
No, but what I wanted to tell criminal activities, how the people they
One of
use
the
it.
richer.
Not only richer people, you just imagine, very recently, gold prices close to 1 lakh 30,000 or like that. So now, what is happening, everywhere that you're stealing or that looting, that is one small piece of gold also that is snatching away.
Due to war.
No,
It
this
is not
is
due to war.
unemployment.
No.
No. Yes.
Here it is unemployment. If he wanted to tell that due to war only gold prices. It was
Also because of the this brands, because they have to pay the reparations.
And
Oh, it's a present, why in this?
I was telling about the present scenario, gold prices touched, that is touched, no.
Even
So, So this time why the criminal activities will increase. Recently, that railway authorities started publishing bulletins stating that not to wear gold or similar type of jewelry. Because it will invite some kind of threat of your life. Like that. Warning is given by the government side. Because any gold type of things also will invite you. They are not knowing by seeing that whether it is gold or not. After snatching only they will come to know that it is not gold. So that is when the prices are rising, so those people are not able to afford. So they, if they snatch away that much thing and they selling it also they can get money. They're not having job. So they took to criminal activities. I just connected that.
The economic crisis created deep anxieties and fears in people. The middle class, especially salaried employees and
Pensioners.
pensioners saw their savings diminish when the currency lost its value. Small businessmen, the self-employed, and the retailers suffered as their businesses got ruined. These sections of society.
How their businesses got ruined? Nobody is having money, so how they will buy? So, see, it is very difficult for us to imagine. We haven't seen that kind of bonds in India.
it must have affected the farmers.
Farm.
No, but farmers,
See, farmers are producing the things to sell. Understood that? If you are not purchasing that goods, how they will get money?
That is they would
Yeah,
have.
but then they have the power to sell.
Yes,
That
survive.
is why I was saying.
Okay.
these sections of society were filled with fear of proletarianization.
Proletarianization. Yes.
But he was saying that then people will threat the farmers to give us.
That also, that criminal activities, it is coming.
So they are also not safe.
Yeah. Because free food, some areas, no, they are just demanding free this thing. So these people with great difficulty. And one more thing happened after that war, that land was hit by this thing, bombs and all, no? So the land fertility lowers. So the farmers were not getting good produce.
An anxiety of being reduced to the ranks of the working class or worse still.
You just underline this point, what is proletarianization? A feeling that they are lesser than that workers. Understood? So earlier they were having money with them. Now they are having a feeling of fear that their condition is lower than that of working class. So that situation is termed as proletarianism.
So was this common?
And
It was
It
a
was-
common over the
all over the world, that kind of situation is there. See, if you are having that everything, that whatever you are demanding, you are getting. You are having money with you, and now one fine day, everything is stopped, and you will feel anxious about that. What will happen in the next moment? My condition, I don't have money. So from where I will get money? Where I will get money to buy the things, or where I will get food? This kind of lowering the status, that feeling is called a proletariat. Everywhere.
What about Asian countries?
Asian countries also, because the Asian countries were the colonies of European countries. These things were taken forcefully to their countries. And during the World War time also, everything, that is, factories were converted for the production of war-related
Food also.
So everything was taken. So the miserable condition we had to experience. India also faced the situation.
The or worse still, the unemployed. Only organized workers could manage to keep their
Have you
heads-
marked that point? Proletarianism.
Only organized workers could manage to keep their heads above water. But unemployment weakened their bargaining powers. Big business was in crisis. The large mass of peasantry was affected by a sharp fall in agricultural prices, and women unable to fill their children's stomach were filled with a sense of deep despair.
See, everyone. Here farmers also mentioned. So all the sections were affected by this.
Politically too, the Myanmar Republic was fragile. The Myanmar constitution had some inherent defects.
This points very compulsorily you have to mark. I have given you that also. What were the defects of that Weimar Republic? Okay. What were the this thing? They were fragile.
Which made it unstable and vulnerable to dictatorship.
So any time it can change into a dictatorship. Because it was not strong. And the members of that republic were also fighting among each other. So that kind of condition.
One was proportional representation. This made achieving a majority by any one party a near impossible task, leading to a rule by coalitions.
So proportional representation, that means that according to that number of, the status of that party, that representation was given. So no party was getting majority to form the government. That led to coalition government.
Another defect was Article 48, which gave the president the powers to impose emergency, suspend civil rights, and rule by decree. Within its short life, the Myanmar Republic saw 20 different cabinets lasting on an average 239 days.
So not even 1 year.
And a liberal use of Article 48. Yet the crisis could not be managed. People lost confidence in the democratic parliamentary system. It seemed to offer no solutions.
Okay. Now you just take a small video of this one. Rise of Hitler. Especially that Rule and post. Okay, what you are doing?
Video.
Video only, but don't come out of that one. Share also. Possible. I solved. She's calling. Share.
This one, right?
Share first.
Eyes of
That you follow.
Eyes of
ऐड करना मुझे पॉज करके
all of Hitler दिया है
Rise of Hitler we have to.
not all of Hitler.
No, all of Hitler later will come. We will see. Okay.
All of it.
skip
Oh.
Have you ever thought about how the world's most famous example?
it was dubbed auto dubbing.
नमस्कार दोस्त, कभी सोचकर देखा है कि कैसे दुनिया के सबसे जाने माने डिक्टेटर एडवर्ड करोड़ों लोग ब्रेन वॉश किया अपना अंध हक बनने पर? कैसे ये इंसान दुनिया का सबसे जाने माने डिक्टेटर बन गया? इन तकनीक्स का, इन स्ट्रैटेजीज का इस्तेमाल किया इसने करने के लिए। आज 132nd बर्थ एनिवर्सरी है हिटलर की, और आइए जानते हैं ये सारी चीजें आज के इस वीडियो में। और एक और दिलचस्प कहानी मैं आज के लिए आपको बताना चाहूंगा, जो कि है एल्बर्ट आइंस्टाइन की दुनिया के सबसे जाने माने साइंटिस्ट को किस तरह से ट्रीट किया गया हिटलर के द्वारा। आइए जानते हैं। ग्रीक फिलोसोफर अरिस्टोटल ने कहा था कि बेसिकली 3 तरीकों से लोगों को मनाया जा सकता है, परसुएड किया जा सकता है, ईथोस, लोगोस और पैथोस। आज के दिन वैसे ये चीजें एमबीए के एडवर्टाइजिंग कोर्स में भी सिखाई जाती है। मैं एक टूथपेस्ट का एग्जांपल लेता हूँ। मान लो मुझे आपको एक टूथपेस्ट बेचनी है। ईथोस का मतलब है कि मैं अपनी अथॉरिटी एस्टैब्लिश करूंगा अपना पॉइंट बनाने के लिए। मैं कहूंगा ये टूथपेस्ट आप खरीदो क्योंकि 90% डेंटिस्ट इस टूथपेस्ट को सर्टिफाई करते हैं कि अच्छी है, इसलिए आप इसे खरीदो। लोगोस का मतलब है कि मैं लॉजिक का इस्तेमाल करूंगा अपना आर्ग्यूमेंट बनाने के लिए। इस टूथपेस्ट को खरीदो क्योंकि इसमें फ्लोराइड है, और फ्लोराइड आपके दांतों में जो कैविटीज होती है उससे फाइट करने में मदद करता है। और फाइनली पैथोस का मतलब है कि मैं इमोशंस का इस्तेमाल करूंगा आपको मनाने के लिए। इस टूथपेस्ट को खरीदो क्योंकि इसमें देश का नमक डाला है, देश का नमक डाला है, इसलिए आपको प्राउड फील करना चाहिए इस टूथपेस्ट को इस्तेमाल करते हुए, इसलिए इस टूथपेस्ट को खरीदो। अब बात यह है दोस्तों, जब आप कोई पान मसाला जैसी चीज बेचोगे तो इसमें कोई लॉजिकल आर्ग्यूमेंट नहीं है कि लोगों को खरीदना चाहिए। तो एडवर्टाइजिंग कंपनीज अक्सर पैथोस यानी इमोशंस का इस्तेमाल करती हैं पान मसाला जैसी कि मुंह में कबाड़ गंदा, कदमों में दुनिया, बोलो मेरा जूता केसरी। ऐसे स्लोगन जो आपके अंदर प्राइड और हैप्पीनेस की फीलिंग्स लाएं। और पॉलिटिक्स की बात करें दोस्तों, तो एक डिक्टेटर पॉलिटिक्स के पान मसाले जैसा ही होता है ये समझ। अगर एक आम आदमी लॉजिकली सोचकर डेटा के हिसाब से वोट देगा तो कभी भी डिक्टेटर को वोट नहीं देगा। तो इसलिए डिक्टेटर को पैथोस यानी इमोशंस पर रिलाय करना पड़ता है लोगों का वोट लेने के लिए। Deutschland seid über eine Frage von wenigen Tagen. अगर आप अपने देश से प्यार करते हो तो मुझे वोट दो, अगर आप अपने सोल्जर्स की रिस्पेक्ट करते हो तो मुझे वोट। बहुत लोग प्रभावित होते हैं ऐसे ही इमोशनल भाषणों से, लेकिन कोई भी लॉजिकल इंसान इस भाषण को सुनेगा तो वो कहेगा ठीक है हम सोल्जर्स की रिस्पेक्ट करते हैं, लेकिन तुम्हें क्यों वोट करें इसके बाद। सिर्फ पैथोस का इस्तेमाल करना, सिर्फ इमोशंस का इस्तेमाल करना काफी नहीं है किसी भी डिक्टेटर में। एक डिक्टेटर को अगर सही में डिक्टेटर बनना है तो लॉजिक को पूरी तरह से खत्म करना पड़ेगा, और यही काम किया हिटलर। 10 मई 1933 25,000 से ज्यादा किताबें जलाई गई नाजी पार्टी ऑफिशियल्स के द्वारा। इन्होंने कहा कि ये किताबें अन जर्मन है, मतलब एंटी नेशनल है ये किताब। इससे पहले इन्होंने कई किताबें बैन करने की भी कोशिश करी थी, लेकिन रेगुलरली हिटलर के अंदर जर्मनी में ऐसे बॉन फायर इवेंट्स होते थे जहां पर किताबें जलाई जाती थी। और कौन सी किताबें थी ये? ऑलमोस्ट हर टाइप की किताबें। इसमें आपका मार्क्सिस्ट लिटरेचर है, साइकोलॉजी पर किताबें, लिबरलिज्म डेमोक्रेसी पर बात करने वाली किताबें, ऐसी किताबें जो ज्यूइश लोगों ने लिखी हो, फॉरेनर्स ने लिखी हो, आर्ट के ऊपर, थिएटर के ऊपर, साइकोलॉजी के ऊपर, ऑलमोस्ट हर किस्म की किताबें जो नाजी पार्टी को लगता था कि हमारी पार्टी के अगेंस्ट जाती है, हमारी डिक्टेटरशिप के अगेंस्ट जाती है, उन्हें जलाया गया। नाजी के प्रोपेगेंडा मिनिस्टर जोसेफ गोबल्स ने इस चीज को जस्टिफाई किया ये कहकर कि द फ्यूचर जर्मन मैन will not be just a man of books but of character। इस टाइम में ऐसे आर्टिकल्स लिखे जाते थे जो लॉजिक को पूरी तरह से नीचा दिखाने की कोशिश करते थे, जैसे कि प्योर रीजन was called to human and dangerous and contrary to nature when applied to real life। Blood and race lead people to the power of nature। एक भारी मात्रा में सीडो साइंस भी देखने को मिलती थी, ऐसे फर्जी रिसर्च पेपर्स निकाले जाते थे जिसमें रिसर्च छापी जाती थी कि देखो कैसे हम जो जर्मन्स हैं वो बड़े सुपीरियर रेस हैं, हमारा जो ब्लड है वो प्योर है, और जो बाकी लोग हैं, बाकी रेस के लोग हैं, वो एक सब ह्यूमन कैटेगरी में आते हैं, हमसे निचले लोग। एक सो कॉल्ड इन्वेंटर था ऑस्ट्रिया में जिसने एक दिन चांद को देखा और उसे रात को सपना आया कि देखो चांद शायद आइस का बना है क्योंकि व्हाइट कलर का दिखता है। तो उसने कहा कि पूरा जो यूनिवर्स है और बाकी प्लैनेट्स हैं सब आइस के बने हुए, बर्फ के बने हुए। उसने अपनी थ्योरी निकाली, वर्ल्ड आइस थ्योरी इसी नाम से। सुनने में इतनी लॉजिकली इनकरेक्ट लगती है, लेकिन हिटलर जैसे लोगों ने इस थ्योरी को प्रमोट किया कि पूरी दुनिया आइस की बनी है, यूनिवर्स आइस का बना है अर्थ के बाहर। नाजी पार्टी के लोगों ने बकायदा इस सो कॉल्ड इन्वेंटर को एक ऑनररी डॉक्टरेट भी दी। ऐसे में देश में जो भी इंटेलेक्चुअल लोग थे, हिस्टोरियन, प्रोफेसर और साइंटिस्ट, है पूरी तरह से दबाने की कोशिश करेगा। यूनिवर्सिटीज और कॉलेजेस एक ऐसी इकलौती जगह है देश में जहां पर सबसे ज्यादा लॉजिक के ऊपर बात होती है। यूनिवर्सिटीज पर एक टाइट कंट्रोल जमाया जाता था नाजी पार्टी के द्वारा, इस हद तक कि जो सीनियर यूनिवर्सिटीज के प्रोफेसर एक एक टॉप यूनिवर्सिटी के उन्हें चुना जाता था नाजी पार्टी के लोगों के हित पर। और जो सब्जेक्ट्स पढ़ाए जा रहे हैं यूनिवर्सिटीज में उन पर एक स्ट्रिक्ट कंट्रोल जमाया जाता था कि जो भी चीजें पढ़ाई जाएंगी उसमें नाजी की आइडियोलॉजी पढ़ाई जाएगी। नहीं होगा ऐसा तो उन यूनिवर्सिटी के प्रोफेसर को बाहर निकाल दिया जाएगा जॉब से। ऐसे में बहुत कम लोग थे जिनमें हिम्मत थी बोलने की, क्योंकि उनकी खुद की जॉब चली जा सकती थी। लेकिन एक ऐसे रेयर एग्जांपल थे दुनिया के सबसे फेमस साइंटिस्ट एल्बर्ट आइंस्टाइन। आइंस्टाइन ने शुरू से ही बड़े ओपनली और पब्लिकली क्रिटिसाइज किया था हिटलर की पार्टी। हिटलर के पावर में आने के बाद उन्होंने प्रोटेस्ट किए तो
Hello. Hello. Hello.